Today's edition of Mac Voices is sponsored by Doorbell, a family of safe, expandable, yet simple-to-use storage arrays. Drobo's are designed to protect your important data forever. This holiday season, give someone a Drobo to keep all their files and memories safe forever. And by the Mac Voices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, to stay up to date on all the Mac Voices news. Subscribe from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Welcome to the Mac Jury on Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community. I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we're back again with another of our gift guide shows. This is gift guide show number 4. We seem to be doing more of them this year because you've asked for them, and we have so many great people and so many great things that they want to give or get that we just can't get them all in 2 or 3 shows. This, however, is, I think, probably the very first Minnesota only, with the exception of me, of course, MacJury. So put that down. It took us till 2016 to achieve this high bar. So with that, coming to you live from Minnesota, Mr. Charles Edge. Charles, it's great to see you.
It's good to be here again. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Where are you claiming to hail from at this point, other than Minnesota?
I live in northeast Minneapolis, which is a neighborhood that is north, I think, east of the city of Minneapolis.
Okay. And I know who you are, and I know your claims to fame, but for the folks who might not be familiar with you and what you do.
So by day, I am the Director of Professional Services at Jamf Software, a company that makes a product formerly known as the Casper Suite, now known as Jamf Pro. I started there by working on a tool called Bushel, which is now called Jamf Now. And by night, I write for Huffington Post, Inc., Entrepreneur, and a few other places. And I write books whenever I get enough free time to do so.
Lots of books.
You're right, about tidbits, 15. Right?
The folks that make Tidbits, the Take Control series, that's one of my publishers. I've also worked with A-Press, O'Reilly, and a few others. That was my first great love. The online writing is kind of newer to me. So
good. Well, it's great to have you. Thanks for agreeing to share some of your holiday stuff with us.
And thanks again for having me. I love coming to do this. So.
Good. Our other panelist, also from Minnesota, you know him, Julio Ojeda-Zapata from the St. Paul Pioneer Press, among other things. Julio, always great to have you.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Chuck. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So I introduced you from the St. Paul Pioneer Press, but you do 1 or 2 other things too.
Yeah. I write about tech, among other things, here at the Pioneer Press, and I also write somewhat heavily for Tidbits. So those are kind of the 2 tech writing hats that I wear. And the Tidbits writing, I truly enjoy. It's a great outfit to write for.
So now with Julio relocated, so it's a little bit quieter, we can get to our gift picks. Folks, as you probably already know, the rules are pretty simple here. We encourage anything with a power switch, since that sort of makes sense, but nothing is really off limits, except for anything picked by a prior MacJury panel. So these gentlemen have been given those lists, which are growing quite a bit this year. It's getting tougher and tougher each panel, but I'm sure you are up to the challenge. So Charles, let's start with you. What is your first pick for round 1?
So this one's for the youngins in your life. I would say a Pokemon Go Plus. This is a Bluetooth-connected device that connects to the Pokemon Go app, and as you drive by or with them in the back seat, or as you're out walking with the kids, they can just hit this little button, and it makes Bluetooth connection back to your phone and attempts to catch Pokemon or spin Pokestops, all very important parts of the Pokemon Go game. These MSRP for about $30. The only problem is they're sold out everywhere. I suspect the GameStop employees have acquired them all and are selling them on the black market. So I believe that if you actually wanted to buy one, you'd have to pay $200 to $400 right now.
Really?
And people do.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy
but if
cow.
you gave it to any person who plays Pokemon Go, they would just go bonkers, like, because they're just so hard to find. So
is it because Pokemon Go seems to have dropped out of the tech news and the mainstream news that I thought it was dead?
Yeah, I think that the people who are still playing are much more crazed than might be normal or appropriate. But I would say that seems to be one of the big things that I'm seeing people looking for and completely unable to find.
Does this mean you're one of those crazed people, or you just observe the crazed people from a distance?
I have an 8-year-old, so I don't know if that makes me both or neither or both or what, but.
So you have some firsthand experience with this world.
Yes, I may or may not, as the temperatures here in Minnesota have dropped drastically, have sat in front of churches and poor confused people's homes while my daughter sits in the back trying to catch that elusive Rattata or Caterpie or whatever Pokemon that they're after.
I want video of this. I really do.
Me in the front seat saying, "Can I go now?"
Yeah, exactly. Well, we know who's in charge now. No question about it.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that.
You have the distinction of doing the first Pokemon pick on any MacJury gift guide. So congratulations. Good job.
Woo!
Good job. Julio, how are you going to top that for round one?
Well, Pokemon that Pokemon pick is actually quite good because that the Pokemon Go trend is still going strong. So kudos for that. I here at the Pioneer Press, I just not too long ago posted a story focused on tech gifts that happen to be made or somehow conceived in Minnesota, sort of Minnesota tech gifts. So I'm gonna crib from that story and sort of give you some tips from there. And I think I'll start. And this one's a little tricky for me. It's not a specific product, but it's more I'm pointing people towards a company because they have a whole variety of very good products, and it's hard for me to pick one because they're all so good. So I'm gonna offer the company as my pick, which is Pad and Quill. You might have heard of it, Chuck. They make all kinds of stuff. They make they use leather, wood, and linen to make these very elegant cases for iPhones, iPads, MacBooks. They make very elegant but reasonably priced leather Apple Watch bands. They have leather bags. They have all kinds of stuff, and all of it, it's extremely high quality. All of it's gorgeous. Very elegant. Highly recommend that people go to padandquill.com and check it out. I've tested a whole slew of their products. Invariably love them. I'm currently using one of their Apple Watch bands with my Apple Watch, and so that's my pick. Pad and Quill, one of the finest makers of iOS devices and watchOS devices out there.
It fascinates me that after all this time, we still get picks for bags and cases of all descriptions and sizes here on the MacJury gift guide. We all have our favorite companies and our favorite kinds, and if we get to it, that's going to be one of my picks today of a kind. But it just, I guess it just shows how important it is that we still have to carry this stuff around, and some of us like to do it with style, some of it like to do it a little more functionally, but you still got to carry it around. So.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and second Pad and Quill.
Oh,
see, there you go. And honestly, I had no idea that they were a Minnesota company. So thanks, Julio.
They're actually not too far from where you're sitting there in Minneapolis, actually.
Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
And they started with they basically. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but there's a San Francisco company that makes iPad cases that are wooden frames. You embed Dodocase. They basically started as Dodocase copycats, but then they sort of branched out and sort of developed their own personality. I'm very, very impressed with these guys.
Great. Okay. 2 good ones right off the bat. And I'm going to add to that with this.
Oh, right.
You stole one off my list.
This is a tile, and it's just been endorsed by Charles. I love this little thing. It's a Bluetooth tracker, and it's so useful. It's not big. It's self-powered. So once it's engaged and registered to you, you can find this and therefore whatever it's attached to or in with your iPhone. And I have found this extremely useful at conferences and different places because I keep one in the bottom of my bag, my backpack. And occasionally, for whatever reason, you walk away or you forget maybe where you put it, and that can be a little tense with all the stuff that's in there. But the whole idea here is that if there's a network going on behind the scenes of other tile users, and so the range of these things can be as good as that network happens to be. Obviously, if you're in a rural area, not quite so good. If you're in a little bit more urban area, very good. I really prefer the tile to some of the others I've seen. It comes with the hole, of course, which you can clip on something easily, or just, as I do, toss it in my bag. But I love these, and now I think I just don't tell anybody. I just ordered some for Christmas gifts, and I got 4 of them for $60 on Black Friday. So they're not expensive, but they just work. I mean, there's nothing terribly fancy. You can set. They will sound an alarm if you tell it to on your iPhone app. It's not a loud alarm, so it's not going to scare anybody away, but it will help you find this and therefore whatever it's attached to or in. So great little device. Love it. Borderline stocking stuffer. But it could be good as just a regular gift for someone who loses their keys or anything like that. There's also a smaller version now that comes that you can include with your phone, or even it's small enough to go in your wallet. So check it out. Tile.
Pro tip, if you buy 5 of those at once and you go to program them all, put them where you want them to go. Like program each one by one and put them where you want to go. Because if you program all 5 in a stack and then you go to start moving them around, then you don't know which one you've got until you hit the little button. So.
Oh, thank you. I did not. I've not had that experience. So
I did, obviously.
Yeah,
because I'm not very bright.
Yeah, no, I like. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. So, well, good. So that is also our first steal that anybody would admit to, I believe.
It was the next one on my list. So,
yeah, There you go. There you go. So round 1, we have Minnesota company, we have an endorsement from the other panelists, and we have a steal. This is going to be good. Round 2, Charles.
So I know that this is very Mac oriented, and ergo probably pretty iOS and such. But I would put the Amazon Echo Dot on mine. It's $50. It's very easy to set up, and you can voice control most of the things that you might put in your house in terms of home automation. Now, I also have most of those things linked to HomeKit. So if I feel like it, I can say, hey, Siri, do something. But the thing that I love about the Echo is that I can say, Alexa, turn on the Christmas tree. Took her a second, but she got
now you're just showing off.
Yeah,
I know. So the thing I like is it has this concept called skills. So you can import or create new skills and link it to if this then that and have workflows that trigger and do lots of different things. So it acts almost as a way for me to control things that I may have purchased before HomeKit was available that aren't compatible with HomeKit yet, or what have you. So Amazon, either the Echo or the Echo Dot. The Echo Dot's just $50, and it takes minutes to set up.
Charles, you alluded to it. Can I take device X and put it on both? I don't want to say her name either. The Amazon device and HomeKit at the same time, and then just order it, whichever assistant I want to use?
Yeah, some devices I have on 3 or 4 different solutions. Like I also have a Wink hub at home, and it really just comes down to how I want to script various automations to occur. So when my car gets within X feet of my garage door, the garage door opens automatically because I don't want to use 8 calories to hit that button to open the garage door. I'm pretty lazy. And then when the garage door opens, it triggers another automation that turns on the lights in my backyard, because as Julio will note, this time of the winter it starts to get very dark very early in Minnesota, and so then the backlights in my kitchen and the areas that I walk in my house come up as well to like 70-80%. And some of those things are manageable via HomeKit and some aren't because I bought them in some cases 15 years ago. So having different solutions that I can trigger different things on. The one thing about HomeKit is we still can't really hook it to like if this then that channels and have it be automatable in the way that I want things to be. Because again, I'm lazy. I don't want to walk over to the Christmas tree. God, that's terrible.
It's all about reducing stress.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds good. So we have an Echo Dot, the Amazon Echo Dot. Julio, round 2.
So there's a company to the south of the Twin Cities here called Colorware. Colorware is they're just imagine sort of a high-end paint shop for fancy sports cars, but replace the sports cars with Apple gadgets. This is a company that does very sophisticated, very detailed, very accurate color jobs on all manner of devices, Apple devices, game controllers, speakers, headphones. They have there's an almost infinite selection of colors and color combinations. You just pick your color, and then you send in your device, or you can actually buy a device from them. You can buy an iPhone from them, or send in the iPhone that you have, and they will custom paint it in the color or colors of your choice. And it's a little hard for me to verbally describe how amazingly awesome these paint jobs are. I visited their facility, and there are these rooms with the guys with the little spray guns, sort of painting. They literally take the devices like a MacBook. They take the MacBook entirely apart. They paint all the exterior pieces, and then they put it back together. And it's absolutely remarkable. It's not cheap. It's obviously one of those things that you have to pay. Yeah, you have to pay substantially for. But if you have, if you remember the old black MacBook, for instance, everybody has fond memories of the black MacBook, and you want your MacBook or your Touch Bar, MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, you want it in that color in black, or maybe you wanted it in the glossy black that the iPhone 7 is available in. Those are all options for you. You can make your MacBook look glossy black exactly like your iPhone. These are all possible from this company. It's really quite amazing.
So I can get my iPhone made in gold. Is what you're telling me.
They have they just have a vast palette of colors and color combinations. Just anything you can dream up. Pink and purple and orange, if you want.
14 karat gold looking. It doesn't actually have to be gold, but
absolutely. So
I've always wanted in life.
Yeah, they're internationally known, but they are located in this out of the way little rural community called Winona. But they do, and their facility from the outside is very nondescript. But you go in there and you see absolute miracles taking place.
So, are we talking about just solid colors, or are we talking about the airbrush art kind of things?
Well, I believe they have a corporate program where they'll do logos and things. But yeah, generally you're talking about solid colors. like your iPhone, for instance, you can make your home button one color, you can make the front one color, you can make the back another color, so you can come up with different combinations. But yeah, they tend to be solid colors.
Okay. I mean, there's only so much space on these devices, and at some point, I'm sure it becomes cost prohibitive to try to do that kind of art. But
one of the most impressive things I saw was like a recent model iMac. Every piece was a different color. The base was a different one color. The back was another color. The front was another. The edge around the front was another color. The keyboard was a combination of colors. The mouse. They came up with a sort of rainbow iMac system, which is very cool. So,
okay.
Any color your heart desires is available,
including solid gold.
Or Tiffany blue, or Coca-Cola red.
Ooh, Tiffany blue.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Any particular reason that punched your button, Charles?
Oh, I keep a Tiffany box for my accidental I forgot your birthday gift, you know.
What is in the Tiffany box is the question.
Oh, just, drive down. I probably shouldn't admit this, but you just drive down to Tiffany and buy something. I mean, but it rotates every time I forget something. So I don't know what it is right now. But
okay.
I'm sure it's great.
and they keep a record of it for you, I'm sure. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's round 2.
Wait, you didn't have one yet.
Yeah, so I'm going to do my round 2. My round 2 is the Ring Video Doorbell.
You just stole my second one, Chuck. We're not friends anymore.
Honestly, you didn't tilt the camera down before we started. I didn't know. I put a Ring Video Doorbell in earlier this year, and I absolutely love it because it just it cuts down on dealing with salespeople. It cuts down with dealing on all those annoying people that come up and want to talk to you about whatever it is they want to talk to you. It was invaluable during an election year, let me tell you, because I could just basically dismiss people without having to actually see them or deal with them. Tell them I'm just not available right now or couldn't come to the door. Video is crystal clear. It's absolutely perfect. And it gives you this nice wide-angle lens, so I see my entire front porch. And, of course, with the motion detection, I don't even have to have somebody ringing the doorbell. I pretty much know that they're coming to the door before they get there. So it absolutely works as advertised, and I can't encourage you enough. If you don't have a screen door or a security door, if your house is like mine where you're opening that front door with nothing between you and whoever is there, this is a great way to add a little security, not to mention the convenience factor of it. So the Ring Video Doorbell. There's a Pro model as well that gives a little bit better resolution, but I just can't say enough good things about it. I had Jamie Siminoff on the show earlier this year to talk about it, and Charles apparently has one of those too. I'm trying to figure out things that Charles doesn't have. But yeah, so you have one and like it?
So I went out one night and I came home rather late or early, as the case may be, and I was laying in bed asleep, and my doorbell rings, and it was the salesperson, the classic, and very specifically CenturyLink jerks. I mean, their van is out front, and I can see the guy standing there with his clipboard, and I know he wants to sell me internet, and I don't want any more internet. I have a lot of internet. I don't need more. And I'm just laying in bed I'm so glad that I can just look at him and watch him just standing there, And I didn't say talk and say go away, I'm sleeping or whatever. But yeah, the sales, and not just that. I get a text when there's an Amazon package showing up, and it's like, hey, your ring is, and I can hit the thing and see the UPS truck speeding away, and I'm like, oh, there's a package sitting on my front door. So I quite like it.
Yeah. Julio, any experience with the Ring?
I don't have one, but I did very recently write several articles about porch piracy. People shadowing UPS trucks and then swooping in and stealing the packages and running away. That trend is at epidemic proportions here in the Twin Cities, and I presume in other cities in the country. And so I wrote several stories about that. One of my stories was about, what are options to sort of protect yourself. And among those was, suggestions that you either set up one of these doorbells or, possibly a Nest camera or a Netgear Arlo. So more and more people are setting up these devices to sort of protect themselves. And I had a couple of stories of, people that there was this one guy who was in Hawaii. He was on vacation, and he got a sort of a motion alert, and he assumed that a buddy of his was picking up a package that was there, and it turned out it was a woman stealing the package. And he saw all of this happen on his Minneapolis doorstep, and he was watching all of this from Hawaii on his iPhone. That was kind of funny. So,
unfortunately, it doesn't. They don't come with it yet armed to take
with a
out
taser.
Something of that nature, or
yeah, we need lasers.
Yeah. So just dig yourself a trapdoor. Charles can write a script for it so that as the thief is leaving your porch, the trapdoor opens and you've got him.
Arduino board. Yeah, I've got this. Totally.
I didn't doubt it for a second.
I mean, I don't have it, but I will.
Yeah.
But there's an interesting, I have an interesting addendum. I found this British company that sells these lockbox like mailboxes that like a delivery person can come up, and you've already provided that delivery person with a code that they can punch in, and they make a version of these lockbox like mailboxes that has a Ring video doorbell on the front of it. So it's not the Ring video doorbell is not on your front door. It's actually attached to the front of this mailbox, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is.
So, yeah.
Now, Chuck, how long did it take you to figure out how to screw the thing into your existing doorbell situation?
The instructions were pretty easy. I didn't have any trouble at all. And
took me about 5 minutes, maybe.
Maybe that. And
I would say if you have a very slim door jamb, you kind of want to make sure that there's room for it, because you want to use your existing doorbell wire, because that wire has a low watt power source. Otherwise, you're going to be swapping batteries on the thing every couple months.
Yeah,
which no one wants.
Which is no one wants. But if you do have that problem, it's not a horrible option, because because I played with it a little bit in both ways. Before I installed it, I just had it separately, and it didn't seem to knock the batteries down real quick, especially if you keep the motion alerts set low. It's not like it's sending out lots of signals. So, but either way, you've got an option if you don't have a place or don't have an existing doorbell.
I don't have an existing doorbell. What do you do in that case? Is there like an entirely digital option that doesn't require like a wiring into the house? Can you like set up a bell inside your house that connects to the doorbell via Bluetooth or something?
Yes, they have bells, standalone bells that you can just plug into any old regular power jack, and you pair it up to the Ring.
Good.
At that point you are using batteries. But
that's fine. Although there's a solar powered Ring video doorbell.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Me either.
Okay. All right. Put that one down on the notes. Solar. Yeah. Okay. Good. Today's edition of Mac Voices is sponsored by Drobo, a family of safe, expandable, yet simple to use storage arrays. Drobos are designed to protect your important data forever. This holiday season, give someone a Drobo to keep all their files and memories safe forever. Drobo is giving you a huge holiday opportunity to get their superior data storage products for 20% off by visiting drobostore.com and using the discount code MV20 at checkout. That's 20% off the Drobo 5D, which boasts 5 drive bays, Thunderbolt speed and connectivity, with the option to make it even faster by installing an mSATA card for caching. That's 20% off the Drobo 5DT, an even faster version of the Drobo 5D, also with 5 bays, Thunderbolt 2 and USB 3 connectivity, an included mSATA card, and support for 4K Thunderbolt connected displays. That's 20% off the Drobo 5N, a network-attached storage device with 5 bays, an option for an mSATA SSD to speed things up even more, and once connected to your network, accessible to any computer that is on that same network. And let's not forget the MyDrobo apps that turn the 5N into all sorts of things. A Plex server, a way to automatically upload and store your mobile photos and videos, and much more. Need enterprise-level storage? Drobo has 8 drive bay and 12 drive bay options for you too, and you can get 20% off of them as well, all with the discount code MV20 at drobostore.com. Don't forget that all Drobos can be set to survive the failure of 2 different drives, so your data is safe when, not if, a drive goes bad. When, not if, 2 drives go bad. Because drives do go bad sooner or later. With Drobo, you don't have to worry when it happens because your data is safe. Just pop the bad drive out, slide a new, fresh drive in, and you're good to go. But you don't have to wait for a drive to go bad. When you need more storage, just pop a drive out and slide a new, larger capacity drive in. No need to match manufacturers or drive sizes. Drobo does all the work behind the scenes to integrate the new drive, giving you a bigger bucket of storage automatically. Perhaps best of all, Drobo is the easiest multi-bay storage system out there because there is virtually no management unless you want there to be. Configure your Drobo as one big volume or split it up as you see fit. Once partitioned, you're done and ready to go. That's become increasingly important to me as I become increasingly busy. I want my storage to work for me, not the other way around. I've said it before and I'll keep saying it until you tell me you bought a Drobo. Actually, I'll probably keep saying it then too. I have never lost data in a Drobo thanks to their amazing Beyond RAID technology and their outstanding customer support. You can have that same experience and have it for 20% less if you order your Drobo from drobostore.com and use the discount code MV20 at checkout before December 31st. Do it now and have your Drobo in time to protect your holiday videos and photos, and all the other work you've done this year. Happy holidays, and thanks to Drobo for their ongoing support of MacVoices. Okay, so that's round 2, so that means we're halfway through, and the big question is, will I be able to steal another of Charles's picks? So, Charles, what do you have for round 3, or have I obliterated your choices?
No. Luckily I have 15, so good luck. I come prepared. Server admins, we all build fault tolerance into everything. So I would say Philips Hue. HomeKit, Alexa, Amazon Echo, compatible. The starter pack, I would say with. Shh. Sorry, she heard me.
Yeah.
But the starter pack with 2 light bulbs and a bridge would probably be a great way to get started. If you've done no home automation, you can start controlling a couple lights and get off to the races very quickly, and if possible, doing the colored light bulbs so that you can go blue, or for Halloween orange, or for Christmas red, is never a bad thing. They're LED bulbs; they basically last forever. I think I've had them for 2 or 3 years and not replaced them. So.
Serious question. For you, it's one thing. For us mere mortals, how long would it take me to, from the time I start to unwrap the package to actually having it be able to be controlled by Alexa or anything else? What kind of time investment are we talking about?
The top search result for anything else is anything.
Yeah, she heard me too.
You have to say Shlomo.
Yeah.
These are apps that they run. Most of them don't have like a desktop or a computer-based thing. So you load, you download the Philips Hue app, and then it guides you through this process. I've found that the hardest of the app-driven things that I've had to install are the Chamberlain garage door openers, the MyQs. There's so much involved in garage doors. So it's not Chamberlain's fault, I don't think. It's just, you got to get up there and hit the button on the garage door, not just, hit your opener or something like that. But with the Philips stuff, I found that it took about 5 minutes, and it's not like you have to have a basic understanding of networking or anything. You just have to have your Wi-Fi username and password, or just password according to how you've got your Wi-Fi network configured, handy. And then you fire up this app and you start going through it, and it takes you through and does everything for you. So
Okay.
Yeah, and I second the gift bag, because I have Hue light bulbs that I greatly enjoy. I've sort of configured the colored the ones that shine in colors. I've configured them for all the Star Wars planets: Tatooine, Alderaan.
One pro tip on the Hue stuff. It's a great way to get started long term. If you're going to put real dimmers like this one is an automated dimmer in, if you turn it off with the Hue app, or if you turn it off with the dimmer, you then can't turn it on with the Hue app. So you don't want to have overlap with your wireless or your home controlled stuff. On the endpoint, you can have overlap on what controls it, but not necessarily on the other side, because the light. The Philips bulbs, for example, need current in order to turn on. So if you turn a switch off, which is natural because we've been doing it for 30 years, or 100 in my case, but if you turn the switch off, you can't then turn it back on. So basically, I use the Hue stuff now where I can't get new dimmers to work, because in some cases the wiring's too old or the fixture's too old, and a modern dimmer is just not gonna light that bulb properly. You'll turn it on and it'll flicker or something like that. But for those who don't want to do any rewiring of light switches and things, I think the Hue is a great buy. And now they've got them everywhere, so you can go to Best Buy or Amazon or wherever you like to buy stuff.
And there's a fairly robust ecosystem of third-party apps for both iOS and Mac that let you do some interesting things. So,
like the disco partying apps, where you have it changing color based on the music. Yeah, I've seen those.
I think there are. My memory's a little dim on this, but I think there are some options where if you set things up right, you're watching certain programs, and based on the program you're watching, the Hue lights adjust accordingly.
Back to the Tatooine reference.
Like if you're watching The Walking Dead or something, the colors sort of adjust accordingly. I forget how to set that up, but that is an option. So
I like that.
I'm debating if these are things with just people with too much time in their hands, or whether this is really cool. I can't quite decide. Maybe both.
Don't tell my office about the too much time on my hands thing.
Don't tell them about the show. All right, Julio, round 3.
So again, Twin Cities company, Code 42. I think they're just plain Code 42. They used to be called Code 42 software. One of the best, it's a little nerdy, but one of the best gifts you can give somebody is data protection, data backup. I had these conversations with a lot of people who they've stored their photos on external hard drives in their home offices, and the hard drives fail, or they have a fire, or their house is robbed. And I'm continually having conversations with people, trying to explain to them the concept of offsite backup. Just back up your stuff to the internet. And there are a variety of companies that do this, but Code 42 CrashPlan technology, it's highly rated. When people do comparisons of these things, a CrashPlan usually comes out looking pretty good, if not necessarily on top. And I like them because they're local. I like to support a local company. I know that if in the highly unlikely event that they sort of screw up my data, I can actually go there and knock on their door and complain. But that's never happened. But really good option to sort of teach your mother, your father, your siblings that you need to back up your data, and you need to have local backup, and you also need to have offsite backup. And CrashPlan is a great way to do the latter. They're reasonably priced, highly rated. Their software is pretty well designed. I'm very impressed with those guys.
I was still living in Venice Beach, by the way, when I became a CrashPlan user, and that was 9 years ago. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
And they, you'll have to forgive me. I'm pretty sure they still have this. They also have a free option where instead of backing up to their servers for a fee, you can actually back up to a buddy's computer across town. So you're using the CrashPlan software, your buddy's using the CrashPlan software, and you're backing up your data to your buddy's computer. I think they had that in the past, and I think it still exists where you can use the CrashPlan technology for free if you set it up the right way.
And it's super encrypted, so your buddy can't actually look at your data.
Exactly.
It's only accessible with your password. The other nice thing I like is you can back up to your home server. And that way, if you do lose like an entire computer, you're not reloading all of it off their cloud. You're reloading a lot of it off of your home server. And like, you don't want to restore 2 terabytes of data off of the cloud. It's just going to take a long time, as opposed to just 2 terabytes off of your, local gig connection, and you're back off to the races. So.
And that's a good point, because they used to have a thing where if you needed to get your data back and you didn't want to download over the internet, they would send you a hard drive. And some other companies do that, but for some reason, CrashPlan stopped doing that, which I thought was kind of dumb. But that minor complaint aside, they're a really good outfit.
Yeah, and one thing about their software that I really like, because they're one of my off-site backup options as well, and have been for a long time, is that they let you set the times that the backups run. For example, I wouldn't want backups running and sucking up bandwidth while we're trying to do the show. So I can set it that it backs up maybe only between 1 in the morning and 5 in the morning. Or I can set it up, just to back up when I'm at the office, so that it's catching everything I'm doing during the day. So I really like that granularity. It adds a little complexity to the software, but I mean that's sort of the nature. If you're gonna get that granular control, you're gonna have a little more complexity. But that's a really nice feature of it if you have that particular need. If it doesn't matter to you, well, then it's not that big a deal.
They also just moved into the company that the same building as our company. So now they're 2 stories down. So if anything happens, I can just go downstairs and yell at them as opposed.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. That building's kind of interesting. It's kind of like a little mini Silicon Valley all within one building. There are a lot of tech companies in there, aren't there?
Yeah, we seem to have started a trend.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I'll have to come visit, and that way I can hit a bunch of companies at once.
They'll just call it Silicon Building. Everyone has to put silicon in the front of a word these days. Silicon Beach, Silicon Alley, Silicon Valley. Yeah. We're just going to be Silicon Building.
Yeah.
Or Silicon Tundra.
Silicon Tundra.
Well, there is Silicon Prairie, right? So that's a whole other thing.
That's Illinois, isn't it?
I tend to think it's anywhere flat, personally, but...
All right. Well, for my third round pick, I told you, Charles, this was coming. This
goodness.
Okay, as best I can show it to you at this distance, is an Ogio Renegade backpack. Now, I'm a little embarrassing about how much tech I tend to carry around, hauling it back and forth to the office every day and then wherever it is that I go on weekends. But I really like this bag because this bag has a pocket for pretty much everything, including an iPad. Can't quite fit an iPad Pro in its iPad pocket, the large iPad Pro, the 12. But the 9.7 fits just fine, obviously, and mini fits fine. A couple of the highlights of this bag, though, for me, other than just the pockets. Number one, it's got a crush-proof pocket right at the top for my sunglasses or anything else that I absolutely, unconditionally don't want to take any chances with. The second thing, of course, is the iPad pocket. So it's right there and it's protected, but it's also not resting down on the bottom of the pack. The third, and this is the really critical one, for MacBooks, MacBook Pros that you're carrying around, it's got a dedicated slot for that is suspended above the bottom of the pack itself. So if you in frustration from your day, you happen to put the pack down just a little bit hard, it's not like the edge of your MacBook Pro is, hitting, even though it's padded, it's still not going to hit the bottom. It's suspended in there as part of the system inside. It's got great little outboard pockets for anything that also can be used as, say, water bottle holders. So it's a nice way not to have that mesh, but to have the capability of the mesh. But also, if you aren't carrying around water bottles, you can make use of that space because it zippers up. So you can carry. The greatest danger with this thing is that you can pack it so full that you might do your back some damage, which I've done on occasion, because I've had like 4 laptops and a couple iPads and ancillary hard drives and all kinds of stuff. But it can handle it. I have been using it now for, I guess it's about a year. Not a single seam that I can tell has popped. No problems with it all. Looks all but brand new. So it's a little pricey compared to some backpacks. Not as pricey as some others, but it holds up really well. Ogio, of course, has a great name in the bag industry. And not just the tech bag industry, but sports bags, golf bags, and everything else. So I would tell you, seriously consider this. This is a big backpack, again, to be able to put all that stuff in. So if that's what you're looking for, it's worth it. If you're looking for something that's a little more light and maybe not as capable, then this might not be the bag for you, but Ogio probably has one for you. So that's my pick. Go check it out. I think if you need to carry a lot of stuff and you want to protect your gear, it's a good choice. Good choice. Did I steal that, Charles?
No, that's the first one you didn't steal.
Okay.
I'm kind of bummed. I was looking forward to getting further down on my list.
Okay. Well, I'll try to do better next time. So let's see. That's round 3. So this is round 4 already. Wow. Okay. Round 4, Charles.
Oh, me first again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, keeping on with the home automation thing, the Belkin Wemo. I didn't see that on the list already. Another item that takes minutes to set up. I would say the only thing I don't love about it is that it doesn't work universally with all of the different home automation things. Like, it doesn't work with my Wink. However, I don't need it to, because the Amazon stuff and anything else can just connect directly to it now. So, but the Belkin Wemos, you can get them with a motion sensor, so you can trigger something to come on. It's all if this then that aware, so you can set up these workflows where if that motion sensor that triggers on a wall receptacle is triggered, then go ahead and take this other action on one of my other automated devices. And I kind of love kind of triggering these complex workflows through my house. No one else that lives in my house tends to like these, by the way, because I will trigger them when I'm not around, and they freaks everyone else out. But that's aside from the point.
Are these both HomeKit and Amazon that person compatible?
I haven't tried to hook my Wemo up to HomeKit, but it is definitely Echo compatible. So there's a skill on the Echo that it took me about 2 minutes to set up the connection between them, and it was off to the races. And that's how I control my Christmas lights and trees. So as soon as we're done with this, I'll probably tell her to turn those off. Otherwise, I'd have to actually go and unplug them, and that would be way too many calories to expend.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the joyous mood that you're giving us with the reflection of the Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. And now that I think about it, I'm a little surprised we haven't had the Wemo as a pick yet. So good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Julio, last pick, round 4.
So this, again, Twin Cities company, they're based in a suburb of St. Paul called Oakdale. It's a company called Hearing Components, and this is kind of a stocking stuffer kind of a pick. Everybody uses earbuds. A lot of people don't really like how the rubber tips feel in your ear. They're kind of cheap. They're just some people intensely dislike them, and Hearing Components makes a whole variety of replacement tips. These replacement tips are made of a foam, special foam that you can sort of squeeze or sort of slip in your ear, and then the foam re-expands and sort of fills your ear canal. You get some good, blocking of exterior audio. They're very comfortable. They come in all. There are many varieties. They come in all kinds of different colors, different materials, different textures, and so forth. They're made for just about every brand of earbud out there, including Apple. And you buy these. You figure out what earbud you have. You figure out what kind of foam tip you want, what color. And then you just order them in 10 packs or whatever. When they wear out, you just put another pair on. And I swear by these. I have a little cardboard box that's literally filled to the brim with these things. And every time I need a new pair, I just kind of grab them out of the box. They're very inexpensive, but they're semi-life-changing kind of a product because they make the use of earbuds just a lot awesomer. The audio is better, more comfortable. You don't have as much exterior audio sort of spoiling your experience. So it's highly recommended. It's a highly effective gift that doesn't cost you a lot of money. You can buy a pack of these for every member of your family.
Why is it so tough to get earbuds to fit? Because I definitely am going to go check this out, because I struggle in all the time with the in-ears I'm wearing right now from Etymotic. I've only ever found one tip that fits comfortably that I can wear for an extended period without it just having to ache and starting to ache. Excuse me. So I'm really anxious to see what these could do, because that. And
I've actually used these foam tips with the Etymotics. As I recall, I was using the Etymotics, and I bought one of the Hearing Components Comply tips that's somewhat elongated. So it's almost a little, it's almost a cylinder, and you just kind of squeeze it, and then you kind of slip it into your ear, and then you can sort of feel it expanding, filling your ear canal. You kind of marvel at how the exterior sound is, suddenly blocked out. And since Etymotics are high quality earbuds, you really the foam tips really help you make the most of that high quality audio gear, and so it really makes a big difference.
Great, good pick. Thank you. I think you just cost me money. Happily, it's not a lot of money. So thank you. Thank you for that too. So I'm debating on my fourth pick, because I'd love to steal something from Charles, even though we're done. But I think that I'm kind of shocked that no one has picked this, but I really think that the Apple Watch is going to be my fourth pick. Which one is sort of up to you. I'm wearing a Series 2. Series 2. But the more I look at the Series 1 and the difference between, I think for someone who maybe is not an athlete, not a runner, is looking for a little more casual use at this particular moment with the popular apps and the way people are using these devices, I think the Series 1 might be the better value. Now, we don't know what's coming down the pike, and you don't know what will be able to be upgraded to new versions of watchOS down as we go farther in time. But I think this represents a pretty good value. And I'm sorry, for the convenience of being able to talk to Siri, at any time just by raising my wrist somewhere close to my mouth, for the convenience of receiving text messages or notifications of a phone call when my iPhone is on silent, or maybe sitting on the desk away from me and I don't notice it ringing, I'm getting that alert. Again, the convenience of getting text messages in crowded situations where no one is aware that I'm getting a text message. All of those things, and of course, let's not forget Apple Pay, the ability to just tap something and go. I checked out at the grocery store tonight with just that, and I mean, it's a little thing, but it's a big thing, not just for convenience, but for security. Over the holidays, the bit of holiday shopping I have done, I'm becoming increasingly annoyed, and boy, this is a first world problem, with the chip card readers and how long they take and the annoying little buzz that they give you when it's done. It makes it more sound like your card's been rejected than the charge has been accepted. And it's Apple Pay is becoming a bigger and bigger thing for me, and I find myself starting to make not all my decisions, but a few decisions about where I purchase things based on whether I can check out with Apple Pay, because it just speeds things up. Not going to call any names of any establishments that don't use Apple Pay, but you should, because it would help the shopping experience greatly.
Especially, I mean, we can name names. There's nothing like Apple Pay shaming.
Well, yeah, but
CVS Pharmacy, they actually had NFC readers, and they turned them freaking off.
Well, I love the pieces of tape over the chip reader. Yeah. like not here yet. You're like, it's that piece of tape's been there for 6 months at my gas station.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. The Series 1 watch makes a lot of sense for me because I don't do any swimming. I don't really want to wear my watch in the shower, so it's the model that makes the most sense for me. And this summer I really got I used to be out of shape, but this summer I got heavily into bicycling, and I established a routine where I'd go on a long bike ride, and then I'd sort of end the bike ride at the grocery store that's near my house, and I'd pop in there and buy a croissant for my wife and a muffin for myself. And I didn't want to fish in my bike bag for my wallet or my phone, so it was really nice to just like pay with the flick of the watch and the NFC reader at Kowalski's. And so I echo that sentiment. It's really super, super cool to pay with your watch.
And I maybe I'm becoming more and more paranoid just because of all the publicity that's around identity theft and all. But I'm now absolutely shredding everything that even pretends to have any information about me. And the idea that I can just tap this and go, I love it. I love it. So yeah, I think the Series 1, but don't discount the Series 2. As Julio said, if you are in a moist environment, or you might end up in a pool somewhere at a party or something, yeah, that could save you some money.
The big thing about the Series 2 that it is very tempting is the screen is a lot brighter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is when we're using the original Apple Watch over the Series 1 outdoors is a little bit of a pain.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, I'm not a good one to say because I'm wearing the Series 2. So yeah, if you're going to do a lot of outdoor work, but I'm not sure how many people would rely on it that much. So pick the one that's right for you. But at the end of the day, the capabilities are very similar. There are a few features that are a little different with the Series 2, but I think it's time. I think it's time that you and your loved ones get in on this game. I think it's important because it's the future.
Yeah, exactly. And the smartwatch market as a whole tends to be tanking a little bit, but the big shining exception to that seems to be the Apple Watch, which seems to, Apple doesn't really release sales figures, but based on what we're sort of figuring out, apparently it seems to be selling quite well this holiday season.
Yeah, and the people that talk about a Fitbit, being in the same category as an Apple Watch, I'm sorry, no way. Yes, there was wearables. Yeah. But I think we need to have a differentiation here between the fitness trackers and the smartwatches.
I wear both still.
You wear both?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I use the Fitbit more for specific fitness type stuff and sleep tracking. I mean, the Apple Watch, I don't find it to be the most useful sleep tracker, if that makes sense. So... And sleep tracking to me is I only sleep about 4 or 5 hours a night, so I need to be really in tune with what I was doing.
I'm impressed.
Or at least I think I do.
I'm impressed that you sleep at all, Charles, because the amount of stuff you get done. So that is a bunch of good picks, guys, and again, some stuff that I'm surprised hasn't come up on some of the previous panels. So thank you. And especially, Julio, I love the idea that you picked things from Minnesota. I mean, I think that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
It really is. So, Charles, one more time, where can we send people to find you when you're not here on the MacJury picking or having your pick stolen, I should say?
I guess Twitter, I'm CEdge318. Facebook, cryptid.com is my personal website. There's about 4,000 super nerdy articles there if anyone chooses to read them. And there's links to my Inc. and Entrepreneur and Huffington Post type stuff from there. So
great. Thanks for coming back. It's always a pleasure.
And thanks for having me. I love doing these with you.
Yeah, we always have a lot of laughs, no question.
Yeah.
And we got Julio here to keep us both straight. So, Julio, where should we send folks to find out everything about you and what you do?
Well, I'm a tech writer here at the Pioneer Press. TwinCities.com is the URL. I write a lot for Tidbits. And I'm OJEZAP everywhere on social media. And my personal site is OJEZAP.com.
Terrific. Thank you for being here and for representing Minnesota so well.
Yeah. And lest there be any doubt, Charles Edge is a quality human being. He's one of my favorite people.
I feel the same about you. You should come by the office more. You never come by. We cry every day thinking about you. But.
Yeah. Well, you almost moved to St. Paul. It's like so close.
Yeah, not almost.
I get the impression there's a backstory here that we're not going to get into.
St. Paul, Minneapolis, there's a thing.
Yeah.
There's a capital. We're not. It's cool.
I actually wrote a story where I interviewed Chip Pearson, which is one of the founders. Chip is actually a neighbor of mine. He's just literally down the street from my house. And since he's a St. Paul boy, he was thinking of moving the company to St. Paul, and he thought very carefully about it, but just never came to pass.
Okay. Local Minneapolis news.
So
I love it.
I'm sad.
Yeah. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. We're going to get out of here. This has been the 4th gift guide. We have more coming up with more picks. And as I said before, the picks get tougher at this point because a lot of the of the easy stuff is gone. So now we're going to get into the fun ones.
Real quick before you go,
yeah.
I just want to ask who picked a NAS? Like on the list of the ones that had already been picked, there was a NAS, correct?
Yeah.
Like a Synology. If someone gives me a NAS for Christmas, I'm throwing it at them. Just throwing that out there.
Wow. Well, I picked one too, but I didn't pick the Synology.
Oh, you picked a Drobo.
I picked the Drobo.
Probably, yeah. That's not a NAS. I mean, that's
not yet. I mean, I guess not technically, but okay. Well, so much for having Synology as a sponsor for the show.
Speaking of super nerdy gifts, there are people that I know for whom a Jamf Now account would be a good gift.
Oh, thanks for name dropping my baby.
There you go. I think a check needs to be written for that. So
yeah, mobile device management for your loved ones. Dig it.
This is the most out of control jury we've had this season. Guys, thanks so much.
Thank you, Chuck.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. We will be back again soon with more. As always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the MacVoices blog, the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.